a Wichita County jury of 5 men and 7 women is now deliberating in the murder trial of Ron Burdick, charged with fatally shooting Michael Randall more than 2 years ago. This after closing arguments from the prosecution and Burdick's defense earlier this morning. Josh Auger was in the 30th District Courtroom this morning, and he's joining us live with the latest. So, Josh.
Yeah, Jalen, this jury has been deliberating for a little over an hour now after what Burdick's defense attorney called a tough week and a half of trial. Now, things got going this morning at around 8:30 with presiding judge Jeff McKnight reading the jury its charge, instructing them on how they're to proceed with their deliberations. After that, lead prosecutor Jarrett Knoll with the Wichita County DA's office addressed the jurors first, arguing that but for Ron Burdick's decision on June 9, 2023, a quote, completely avoidable murder of Michael Randall never would have happened. And among those decisions was Burdick's choice to carry a gun on him. And that was the only evidence, or rather that the only evidence that Randall provoked the fatal shooting was the defense's own, quote, self-serving statements. Burdick's defense attorney Jeff Eves addressed the jury next, proposing that not only did the state fail to prove that Burdick murdered Randall beyond a reasonable doubt, but they failed to disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt, and that there was, a quote, plenty of reasonable doubt in this case. Now, Knoll had the opportunity to have the final words for the jury before they began deliberating, refuting statements made by the defense during their closing argument that Randall was some sort of, quote, methed out lunatic. Knoll arguing that the defense would say anything to convince the jurors that Randall's death was anything but a cold-blooded murder. And now it is up to that jury to decide whether or not Randall's murder was caused by Burdick, whether Randall was murdered, in fact. That is what they're going to be deliberating. Now, it's either that or the defense's theory that he did act in self-defense. That's what the jury's going to be determining. And they'll have as long as they need to do that, continuing to deliberate until all 12 of them have agreed on a unanimous verdict. Now, from there, if they do find Burdick guilty, the trial will move into a punishment phase, which more evidence and testimony will be presented by both sides to determine an appropriate sentence. And that's if the jury convicts Burdick. He is facing 5 years to 99 or life in prison if they do find him guilty. Jalen.
All right, Josh, thank you so much for taking us to the court and telling us all about it. I know you'll have the latest updates on what the jury decides later on tonight on KFDX News at 5 and 6. Thank you so much for that report, Josh.
Well,